I'll admit something. I was not looking forward to playing Choo Choo Charles at first. I watched the PC review from IGN and I saw the $20 price tag and I dreaded the idea. I was considering it because it had just been released on consoles a few days prior and I didn't see any reviews for it on the PlayStation 5. I wasn't feeling well that day, but I knew I wanted to be productive. What if I ate nachos instead? So I decided I would eat nachos and do some research. Who developed it? How long did it take to make? How big of a development team? Finding these answers would be enough productivity for the day, I told myself. So I decided to look on YouTube first for these answers, and it didn't take me very long. Lo and behold, the making of Choo Choo Charles by No Clips. So I clicked the video and smashed that subscribe button. The day was looking up and I was starting to feel better. I learned a lot of stuff that put things into context. It developed in a year by one dude, save for the music which he outsourced. The kid who made the game had a year to make things happen to prove to his parents he could. You see, his parents wanted him to go to college, and recognizing video games as an art form, they didn't want him to end up a starving artist. Well, the game turned out to be a success. Ratings, reviews, mostly positive on Steam. One news source that didn't think so was IGN, who gave it a 4 out of 10. Their response was,
"What the fuck is this piece of shit?"
So, they title 4 out of 10 as bad. So what do I think having played and finishing the game myself? Do I agree or disagree? Well, both. The most egregious thing about the review was that it missed much needed context, which in my opinion makes the review terribly unfair. As the thumbnail I used said, I enjoyed playing Choo Choo Charles. That is a fact. I enjoyed playing Choo Choo Charles. If I didn't, I would be saying, although I understand the context, I did not enjoy playing Choo Choo Charles. But I definitely needed that context. You see, in my opinion, one of the reasons for its success is attributed to its trailer, which made the game have over 14,000 wishlist on Steam on its second day. But that alone wouldn't be enough for the mostly positive reviews on Steam. Another game had a cool trailer. It was a game called The Day Before. If you don't know about that situation, here's a quick summary. 2 years ago, a trailer for a game called The Day Before was released on IGN. Long story short, the trailer looked awesome, but it was a direct ripoff of The Division, and followed by a gameplay trailer that looked amazing. It became the most wishlisted Steam game. Fast forward to its actual release and a few dozen red flags later, it was bad, which is actually an understatement. I'm skipping like a gazillion details. It had sold over 200,000 units, and almost half of that was refunded the next day. It would go to be one of the lowest games rated on Steam. Basically, they lied about what the game was and could be. The aftermath led them to delete their Twitter, YouTube, yada 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 scam. That's not what this is, and actually it's quite the opposite. You see, 2 years ago, 2Star, the YouTube channel page for the development company, released a video titled, "I'm making a game about a spider train named Charles." It is a mouthful. From then, he would go on to post videos about the game and its development. He even had launched a launch stream, A far contrast for what Fantastic did. That's the developer behind The Day Before, where they released a game and then just fuck off. So with all that context I got from the documentary and knowing exactly what I was getting into, and had fun in the process. So, is the game good? No, of course not. So why wouldn't I consider it a good game objectively? Well, the character models are bad, the story and side missions just are a bunch of fetch quests, every single one of them. Well, actually, the climax of the game switches from a fetch quest simulator to just more of a cinematic version of what the thing you do randomly throughout the game, which is occasionally Charles comes to kill you and destroy your train. I did enjoy the tension you get from fetching, knowing that any given time you'll hear a train horn from a distance and Choo Choo Charles will come scurry from the distance. You lose scraps if you die, but only if you die. It actually costs more to survive because you have to repair your train. So it's better technically to die and not fight, but by doing that, you sacrifice the only different game mechanic, which is just point, click, and shoot. The stealth mechanics are universally disliked. including 2-star, which he admitted not only he didn't like it, but it was also the hardest part to develop. I didn't have the train fully upgraded by the final encounter with Mr. Charles, so I had to work a little harder to survive the encounter by repairing during the fight. And I'm not sure if upgrading fully changes this per se. The best and arguably the most important design is Choo Choo Charles himself. He's a terrifying version of Thomas the Train with spider legs, an intentional comparison made by 2-star and his inspiration. The train itself that you ride in, it's fine. There's paint cans throughout the open world, which changes the color. I didn't fully upgrade my train, so I never really got to see the train difference. That was shown in the trailer. And the story enough is simple enough. You're a monster hunter in a world that speak telepathically, summoned to hunt the title character, who's been terrorizing the island. The miners of the town which mixes up the best plus I mentioned earlier. Also, I didn't find many bugs in the case of the Pickle Lady quest. The chest wouldn't open, and although it wasn't a game-breaking bug, the Pickle Lady never got to see her jar of pickles. Also, I didn't realize this until replaying the end a few times, but there's a point where the game becomes unbeatable. If you keep dying like I mentioned before, you need scraps to repair, and you need to repair to defeat Charles. And if you roam to get scraps, you'll eventually run into Charles, which in turn you'll need to repair again, and eventually there'll be no more scraps to complete said repairs. You could do more side missions, but I got burnt out quickly given the nature of the missions. And I can't speak for the PC version, but the PlayStation 5 version, you can't go back to save files, since everything is auto-saved. So you'll have to start at the beginning if that happens. At the time of writing, the current price tag for the PlayStation 5 version is $20. And which, in my opinion, even with the context, it's a price a little too high, especially with the 2-hour runtime. So to wrap things up, if you're interested in Choo Choo Charles, I strongly suggest you watch the documentary. The game is a success, and according to the Steam revenue calculator, estimated a gross revenue of over 10 million and a net revenue of over 3 million, which should give him some breathing room and enough resources for his next game. Because at the end of the day, it is possible from a sole developer to make a great game. Undertale, Stardew Valley, both were developed by a single person, and they're both objectively great games. So that's the end of the review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It helps. I'm fairly new and I'm just kind of like build up a little bit, and I don't want to just keep pumping out videos just to pump out videos. It took me actually a long time to kind of get this video together. So yeah, I plan to do more of these, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Have a good night or good day, I guess, depending what time you woke up in the morning. Anyway, have a great time.